Well, good morning or good afternoon or good evening. Depends where you're coming from around the world. This is my first podcast. I hope to do one of these every week. Keep everyone up to date with what's going on in the drag racing fraternity or industry, as some people call it. I'm going to have giveaways today. First podcast. I've got these cool shirts. It should be ironed, I know that, but I am a male. From SCF Race Cars in Narellan, the drag racing chassis guru Craig Burns. That was donated by his son Joel Burns. I've got my shirts I'm going to give away. I've got a box of these. So they'll be given away. I'll mail them out. V8 TV will pay for the postage. And I've got about 100 of these lanyards. V8 TV lanyards. And I'm going to, if you see me at the track, say, hey, I watched your show, Adam. I'll give you one. I'll take them everywhere I go. My little orange golf buggy at the track, scooting around. What it's all about is basically give you a rundown of what's going on with the drags, what's happening with drivers, teams, cars on the build, tracks. Quite a fair bit, actually. I plan on making it informative. I want to make it entertaining, so I'm going to have guests. There's going to be Test Murph's memory. He's the statistician. He can tell you any Group 1 racer, what times they ran, what mile per hour they ran, what year it was, and what track. So Murph will be coming in the next podcast to sit here on the little Jason recliner, and you'll be able to type in your questions. I'll do that one live, and ask Murph whoever ran Pro Stock, Willowbank, 1995, whatever, he'll tell you the mile per hour, the ET. He could probably tell you the race number of the car. He's that good. So let me introduce myself. My name's Adam Nichols. I started racing in 1984 or 85 at Oran Park. And that was run by Ian Seckold and Zagatlo. It was a great little track. I think it was 1,000 foot, I could be wrong, 8th mile. They may have changed it. So I started racing in a. Let me go back to the beginning. I did an apprenticeship at Phil McCarroll Ford, and there was a guy there named Shorty. He had an XY Falcon 4V, FMX 9-inch. I'd never felt horsepower in my life. My dad had a 64 Chev. That was pretty, with a power guide, you can imagine. And he took me for a run one lunchtime in this XY. Well, it fried the tyres first, second, and top up the road. Like I had no idea what a 4V Cleveland fully worked, had an asymmetrical cam, 750 Holly blue fuel pump, all that stuff back in the 80s. And it blew my mind. Well, after that, I was bitten. So at the time, I had a 2-litre Escort. It was a good little car, 2-door. And I took it to the drags after I watched Shorty and Pete Wilson race at Oran Park. And I had a go, and I think I ran a 14.7, and it wasn't quick enough. So straight home, twin-side draft autos and a cam, which is a bum with them RS2000s. You had to pull the head off to get the cam in the back. And went out, raced it again. Still not quick enough. So I bought an XP Falcon and put a 252V head on it, and I think it had a 350 Holly or a 500 Holly, and raced that. Blew the auto up, ball going to 35. That wasn't quick enough. So then I got an XY Falcon, 351 top loader, 9-inch. Put a Norris cam in it, 750 Holly, did the heads up. It's 3.7 diff ratio. That was a good car. I started going rounds with that one, but once again, wasn't fast enough. So I pulled it off the track. And Craig Burns come over to my workshop, and I said, I want to tub it and get traction. And he goes, righto. So we cut that beautiful XY Falcon up. We cut it up, and there it started. So I had the Liberty top loader to go in there, and I bought the wheels and the diff, and we went to put it in, and one thing led to another. Next minute, I was 3/4 chassis. Instead of just rear tubs, I got the 3/4 chassis, and it sat like that for a few months, and then we were working away on it, and then Craig said, you know what, you might as well just lob the front end off and go full chassis. And I'm like, oh no. So off went the firewall, cut the XY up, beautiful straight XY too. And I then full chassied it and built the car, which I loved dearly, called the GMH Eater. And there it is there. It was I copped a lot of flack for it back then because it had a 509 bow tie in it, 3-speed Lenko. And that took some time to build that car, a lot of money. And I raced that and got that car to the best of 7.3 at 189 mile an hour. And I was told by Brett Gillespie that him and I were the last two cars to go up the old track at Eastern Creek. And then they closed the track. I think we lost the track for 11 years. So it was 10 years of tripping down to Calder and going up to Willowbank to watch racing. And after that, I think in 2004, the drag startup Wizard, Western Sydney International Dragway, and I had to have a car. So then I was booked and even paid deposit to go to America to buy a car. And something come up with my business and I couldn't leave. Well, a fellow by the name of JB, who has a chassis shop in Camden, said, he said, what are you going for? I said, I want to buy a funny car in America. And he goes, there's a good car for sale right now in Melbourne. I said, oh, yeah, where is it? And he goes, his name's Trevor Horwood. I said, have you got a picture? And he had the magazine and he showed me one photo of it. Well, I had to have it. There it is there. And its name was Bloodshot. It's probably not, it's a bit blurry. So I rang Trevor up and said, I want to buy your car. He goes, yep, X amount of dollars. I put $15,000, I think, in his bank account straight away. He couldn't believe it. Then we got talking over the period of a week or so, and he said, I've got all this, I've got all that. And I said, bring everything up. So I bought the whole lot, trailer and all. And that drag strip, when it opened up, the Wizard was fantastic. And I went rounds in that car, lots of rounds. And one guy come up to me at the track and said, you've been in every final for the last 6 meetings? I said, yeah, probably. I kept red lighting in the final though. Don't drink Red Bull when you're drag racing. I don't do that anymore. So that's a little bit about me. In 2008, I went to America. First time ever. What a place. I realised it is the hub of the world's wealth. It's the financial hub of the world. And I was over there at PRI in Florida. And it was I cannot believe, I'm going to go to PRI. V8 TV is going to go, and I'm going to go through that whole place and bring it to you guys on this platform. And the next year I get a phone call, hey, we're going again. I was straight over there in 2009 again. And in 2009, I come up with the idea of V8 TV. And I thought, geez, that'd be a good idea. I could travel over to America and interview drivers and races, because while I was over there in 2008 and 2009, I got to meet John Force, Brittany Force, Courtney Force, Ashley Force, Robert Hyatt. I got to meet them all. And over there they have the Group 1 racing. And then I said to them, when do they have the rest of the meeting? And they said, that's next weekend. They can't fit it all in one weekend. I said, right. And they said, the drivers will be here all week testing. This is in Vegas. I said, right. So all the guys I was with, they had things planned. I said, listen, I'm just going back to the drags. So I spent 3 more days out at the drags at the Vegas Strip. And I was surprised at who I met there. Stan Tyndall, Steve Harker. I've seen a few Pro Stock guys here from Sydney. During the race meeting, John Force is untouchable. He's busy. You can't talk to him. Everyone's yelling out his name as he walks through the pits. But the following week, when he was with Brittany, Courtney and Ashley, they just had their civvies on. They weren't in their Castrol gear, and they were testing for the week after, the racing after. Well, I got out to hang in the pits with Robert Hyatt and those guys for days. And I was amazed how cool they were. And I thought, you know what? They remembered me from the year before. I said, you know what? I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start interviewing these American racers for the Australians and for the rest of the world, for that fact. Get the Aussie in there and ask all the right questions, or the wrong ones maybe. And that's where I come up with the idea, the concept of V8 TV. But, I've got 3 businesses I run, so I'm pretty busy. So it took a little while to get organised. And in January 2019, after I was sitting here and I said to my partner, Cindy, I haven't got a hobby. I need a hobby. What am I going to do? I need a hobby. And she said, what about V8 TV? You keep talking about it. I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I put all the plans in motion, started up V8 TV, and here we are now in 2021, April, and I think we just hit 319,000 followers this week. And that's with COVID. Now, it's been a little bit harder because I haven't got a lot of content to bring the V8 TV followers and fans, because every time there's a meeting lately, it's either raining or it's COVID. So it's going to kick off. We're in our infancy. I've just got myself a camera woman, to help me with the Nitro meeting coming up in May. So I'm looking forward to doing that, getting in front of the camera again with the old microphone. The reputation of our TV sort of spreading slowly in through the pits, so the drivers are starting to get to know me since I have my media pass. And I'll have a lot more interviews. I'll have in-depth interviews. I also want to start interviewing racers in their back sheds. I'm going to call it Shed Talk. And the first one I'm going to have is Benny Gatt. And we're going to go and look at his 800 trophies that he's got. And he's got a collection of cars, and that was supposed to happen on Saturday, but the blower is off his car at the moment getting serviced. And I did want to go there and get it done, you know, while we couldn't start his car. And a little backstory on that. When I was a kid, Benny Gatt was my idol. Benny Gatt, Victor Bray, John Zappia. So it's going to be quite a buzz doing an interview with him. I did a quick one at the pits the other day, but to go through his shed and look at his collection of cars, well, I'm really looking forward to it. So I've got also another gentleman by the name of Dennis coming onto the V8 TV here, and he's a bit of a historian. He's got all the history of drag racing in Australia. I know it mightn't appeal to many people in America and around the world. Aussies will probably want to know about it. But what I'm going to ask is, if when you're watching this video, if you would like to leave a comment below on who you'd like me to interview with Shed Talk or in the pits. I've had a request to do some super sedan races, Group 2, Group 3, and I just started doing that in the last meeting. And I couldn't believe the quality of the cars down the back of the pits. I've been down the back of the pits too before. Beautiful cars. So I plan on getting down the back and doing a lot more interviews. There's a gentleman who's insisting that I do Harleys and the bikes. Now, I have a friend named Andy that he's going to do the bikes. He's going to interview the Nitro Harleys. He's going to do the bikes for me because I haven't got time to do Group 1, Group 2, 3. It's very hard, plus be up on the start line to do the photos and the videoing. So, what else we got to have? There's giveaways, yes. A little bit about my background as well. 2004, I started a drag club called the MacArthur Drag Racers because I always believed that Camden had the fastest guys. We had Wayne Missingham, Top Fuel. We had Dave Missingham, Pro Stock, Graham Betts, Peter Wilson. We had the biggest collection of GTHOs back then. Some of the fastest guys lived here in Camden. We've still got Craig Burns lives in Camden. John Willard with the world's fastest Anglia lives in Camden. We've got Robert Campese lives in Camden. He's got the twin turbo Mustang. I'm sure I forgot a few, but we've got a lot out here in Camden. So I thought I'd start MacArthur Drag Races. Well, it kicked off. And at the social events, we had over 100 members. And that was a great little club. And I learned a lot from that little club. I was founder and president for a few years there, and I'm thinking about one day starting another club out here, but we'll see how that goes. I've got to have a bit of time to myself. Righto. So what else have we got here? I'm going to keep it short and sweet. If you've got any car shows that you'd like me to, come and cover, I'd only be happy to, as long as it's not too far away. If I'm in Queensland at the time doing drags, I can do stuff up there. I don't mind getting around. If you've got shed talk, you want me to come and do an interview in your shed, I'm happy to come around. I won't disclose any addresses. Pardon me, a bit of a bug there. I'd ask for someone, tracks, Lance. Pardon me, it's no good. The Heathcote track. That is where I heard my first Top Fuel car. It was I was doing my apprenticeship and I didn't have a license, and my mate picked me up in an XW Falcon. We roared off at 11 o'clock at night down to Heathcote, Easter weekend. We drove all night. We get there on daybreak, and we're pulling up to the gate, and we hear this brop bop, because there was, if you can understand, Heathcote's in the middle of a bush, and all around it is just big gum trees. And I said to my mate Mick, "What is that?" He goes, "That's a Top Fueler." I said, "You're kidding me." I couldn't believe it. They were warming them up in the pit. So once I heard that Top Fueler, of course it was Jim Reed. So Heathcote's back online now. Lance is doing a fantastic job updating the track. Every day he's got someone there helping, doing something, resurfaces. He's got plan. He's got return road to get surface in the planning. He's doing a fantastic job. That guy is very passionate about that track. I don't know what's happening with Calder. I've heard a lot of stories that it's ready to go. They're just waiting for the concrete to cure. It's been resurfaced. That is possibly going to go ahead in October this year. Maybe even bring it forward. Now, that's a great place to race. I did 10 years of going down there. I used to race Superstock with Mick D'Agostino, and that was the car there. I raced in BMS. I used to rev that car up to leave the line at 8,600 RPM, small block, 330 cube, methanol. Man, that was a good car. Now it's got 6.2 diff ratio and a Liberty gearbox. Now, I think last time I drove that, I used to rev it at 8,800 RPM. It is a tough car. We got runner-up at the Winfield Triple Challenge in that car in 1994. So that car's lurking around. It's not far away from my home here. I hope to resurrect that car with Mick as soon as he's well enough. He's all right, though. And there's a thing here, somebody wrote IHRA and Andrew. Well, I don't really want to go near that because I'm all for promotion of drag racing. I think IHRA and Andrew, that is like opening a can of worms, and I don't want to make this page a discussion for that really, so I probably shouldn't even bring that up. I'm looking for people like Craig Burns and Joel Burns and myself. I know a couple of people probably do that, like Denny McDessie, the Devil's Taxi. Anyone that's got these shirts, pit shirts or whatever, hats, stickers, if you'd like to kindly donate them to me, I will give your business a plug here on the V8 TV podcast. I'll pay for postage. You get a free plug. If you would like to put something up the back there, this shelf, it's hard doing it here. I've got to get used to that. I'm going to have a shelf behind me here for product placement. So that's free. I've got shelving coming. I'm going to put oil bottles there. I'm going to put parts there. I've got some Aeroflow stickers. Oh, my sticker's falling off the back there now. Hang on a second. They are very old stickers. The MacArthur Drag Racer ones. My friend designed that logo for me, so I'll keep that here. Right, back to it. So if you would like to leave a comment below or email me at adam@v8tv.com.au. Get in contact with me. The shirts, you can drop them off to my business in Camden. I will give you a free plug here. Give away the shirts. I'm not sure. I had a lot of here written down, but as you know, usual, it's my first podcast, so things aren't always organised. So if you would like to drop me a line, adam@v8tv.com.au, or leave a comment below what you'd like to see on this show, what you want me to do in the pits, who you'd like me to talk to, anything at all, I'm happy to do so. I'd like to do this once a week. I'm going to try and find the best time to put it up where people can watch it without, don't want to be caught at work on the toilet on your iPhone. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I would like to say goodbye. Okay? And I don't like messy endings. Take it easy. See you on the track. If you see me, give me the peace sign, the V for V8, and I'll give you a lanyard. All right? V8 TV. Over.